It's the Benz Punani womanist. Baby boys, baby girls, you need to hear this. You sit down, receive this realness. Make sure your cup's ready for the tea, we are go sip it, yo. Hard time scrolling for your long shorts. You might learn something you never know. Collect you fine, and she's one of a kind. Don't say you're mine, say you're mine.
The straws will come out tomorrow, so you can suck your mother. Tomorrow there'll be straws. Tomorrow, suck your mother. Tomorrow. For being a pussy clot today.
Yay! Annie's found a home and a voice.
Imagine. They need to do a remake. They need to do a serious remake.
Oh, they did.
But with these sort of songs.
yeah, no, of course.
Because we had one with Jamie Foxx.
Upgrades.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what I need. That Jamie Foxx one. Who was the wife? There was one girl that was with him. It wasn't Gwyneth Paltrow.
No.
Some interchangeable thing that they had there. No disrespect.
Jessica Alba? No, she stopped acting.
Wow.
Yeah, I know. That was when I heard interchangeable. That was the first face that came to my mind. Yeah.
Shady.
I know, right?
One of them. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to another episode of SYM. Just 3 episodes left. My God. My name's Kelechi Okafor. So yeah, welcome to SYM, officially known as Say Your Mind, unofficially known as what? That's right, suck your mum. And today I've got some amazing guests with me. I've got the person that you've been stressing me out about, you know what? He can just have the show because me, I am tired. Every day you will tweet me, when's Kevin coming back? So here's Kevin for you. Kevin has returned. Thank you. Welcome, Kevin.
Thank you for having me. I didn't even know I was loved like that.
Oh, honestly. I'll put out an episode and someone will tweet at me and they'll be like, oh, great episode today. My favorite is still 100 pennies. I was like, if you don't fuck off. But I love that episode so much. I can't tell you how much. And with me also is another K, a baby girl of baby girls, Kuchenga, up in the building.
Hey.
Activist, baby girl, just doing bits. How are you?
I guess. Am I an activist? I feel like that's such a responsibility. I normally rest with writer because that's just, I'm like scribbling a notebook or whatever. Activists suggest that I'm doing something at least every other day, which isn't the case.
You are living every other day.
True.
To me, that is a lot. You are living every other day. Yeah. And whenever we have interactions, I'm just like, sis, you're doing bits. You're doing bits simply by I talk about existence as resistance. Your mere existence.
Thank you.
Is a fight.
Standards.
And we appreciate you, you know? And so that's why I say to me that it's really, really important. And your writing is important. And I've learned a lot through you just being you.
Safe.
So it means a lot to me to have
I
you
will
here.
wear the activist cloak. Yeah.
Yes.
Comfortably.
Because I'm always just like, don't call me an activist because it means there are things that I need to fit into. And then I say it about you. But then I guess now I see what people might be alluding to when they say that because you impact so much.
Thank you.
So I appreciate it.
Yeah,
I think there's 2 types of activists, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think you, like what you just described for me is like the real thing. And then I think if you just go to marches, like you just went to marches,
ones,
innit? You're not really... Yeah. It's just like, I went to this, look. It's like, but it's not an everyday thing.
Yeah.
It's not. So you're an activist, so I don't want to hear no more.
No, so welcome.
Cheers.
So for those who didn't catch that, that's me, Kelechi, and we've got Kevin, and we've got Kuchenga. So I really want to call this episode KKK.
Yeah.
The KKK.
Wow.
Rebrand.
That will go down the hoot. They'll be like, what? The KKK?
That's banging.
But it's necessary. I think it's necessary. So I'm just going to dive right in then into our tarot for this week. Before I dive into the tarot, obviously, big up Ibile Botanica, the sponsors of the show. I just wanted to say, like, this daily balm is the actual truth. I finished my first lot, and it's incredible. My skin just feels really, really nice. She made that really well. So Mutulu and Blongata, you've done amazing things for my skin with your balm. And I've got skin food here. I don't know if you either of you want to take any of this home.
I do.
But yeah, so skin food. This one is the one that you drink every day for 30 days, twice a day for 30 days. It's got nettle, red clover, and burdock in it. That's what makes it a tea. You simmer it for 5 minutes and just strain it and drink twice a day. And it helps with acne, psoriasis, and dull skin. And it can be used as a blend for cleansing the blood as well. Like the smokable herbs, I always say to you guys on the show, that's my absolute favorite. And it heightens your libido. And as someone who thinks a hell of a lot, like my mind is always racing. Whenever I take that, I just feel like, like I feel good. And then she's got a second skin food, which is a facial steam. Herbs as well. So you can get yourself that one. And then the last one, this one's really interesting. It's the raspberry leaf tea. It's a herbal tea. People use it for pregnancy to strengthen and tone the tissue of the womb, and it assists in contractions and checking any hemorrhages during labor. And it's just a great thing for women to have when, to drink generally. So she'd recommend it for you to use to strengthen your muscles and get your blood flowing nicely. So there's so much there. She's got a new thing. Mutulu and Blogata's got a new thing called the solar panel incense. She's got a range of incense available now. You have to use coal with this one, or charcoal with this one, I think, to burn it on. But I'm going to try that out when I get home. So yeah, big up Ibile Botanica. You can get your discount, 20% discount if you type in Say Your Mind. It's all uppercase. Say Your Mind, all one word, on ibilebotanica.co.uk. Thanks, babes. I love my things. Live show is going to be on the 2nd of December, Sunday, 2nd of December. We'll have special guests. I'm sure you can already guess one of them because you won't leave me the fuck alone. Yes, I'm still sorting out bits. I don't want to drag people on this podcast, so I won't mention why. It's taken me a while to be able to announce the link for you to buy your tickets. But on Monday, as the time that you're listening to this, the link will be live and you can book on for the live show and buy your tickets for the live show. And I look forward to seeing you there. The second batch of affirmation cards sold out. Any of you who missed out, you simply didn't listen to the episode. Otherwise, you would have known when they were there. And so they're gone. There will be no more affirmation cards. Don't message me. Don't cry. Don't beg. Thanks so much. So the card for this week, and I'll just see if it resonates with either of you. So first one from the Black Angel deck of cards is the Sister Friend. Can you see that, Brent? Yeah. So the Sister Friend, I'll pass it to you to have a look. So it says here of the Sister Friend, you love and share the pleasures of life. On the waking path, you're angelic. On the sleeping path, you're hermit-like and reclusive. As a sister friend, you hold others close in their most challenging moments and provide as much nurturing as they need. As a sister friend, on the waking path, you are extremely caring. You hold your friendship sacred. You are most often doing things that are about caring, such as cooking a meal, building a fire in the fireplace, praying for others, listening to stories, and giving warm hugs. You invite people to join you in simple life pleasures. To you, nurturing is all there is to life. When you are on the waking path, you are relaxing in life's pleasures. You are an earth angel. On the sleeping path, a sister friend can find that she rarely receives nurturing. You may be doing caring work out of obligation, reputation, or expectation, but rarely out of just because. You find yourself frustrated in relationships because you are the caregiver and others are receivers. You hunt everywhere for someone to hold you. You may even get angry and stop giving. You then become fearful of being sucked up. So you try to control your giving as if rationing candy. A little for you and a little for me. You may even hold back your loving nature and attempt to not feel or care any longer about others. You may turn from a friend into a hermit, leaving everyone wondering where you went. Your self-imposed isolation causes you to hide your angelic nature, so there is no need to respond to people. This seclusion only fuels your loneliness. In essence, you have locked and barred the door to your own heart. You might be feeling a little low on the nurturing scale, but are you aware that you might not have shown yourself to need any nurturing? You must show the same vulnerability you see in those that you nurture in order to receive such nurturing back. You may have shown yourself to be quite capable of taking care of yourself when deep inside you really wish someone could do something for you. You are in need of nurturing as well. Don't worry about appearing too needy. Are you courageous enough to show the same vulnerability you see in those you nurture? When someone can see and feel your needs, the nurturing comes naturally from someone like you. You can take off the stoic or the strong mask so that your cheek can be kissed. Trust that someone will be there for you when you are able to show how human you are, even if you are an angel.
This card is very disrespectful. I do not appreciate. Can you take
That
this
was
back?
a gruesome stabbing.
That
So rough. Oh,
You know that episode of The Simpsons where Lisa tells my guy she doesn't want to be with him, and like Bart rewinds the video?
Yeah, yes, the heart phrase, yeah.
Rude. Just telling everybody my business. You know, like when you're out on road, like you're outside your house playing out, and
Yeah.
then your mum shouts out the window something about why is your bedroom so nasty? Come in,
Yeah.
just breeds all
Everyone looks at you like raw.
Yeah, that's what that just did. I hate the card and I hate you for drawing it.
see, I'm okay because I can feel my growth. Like that kind of, it would have been bang on precise in my first year of uni. And then, yeah, the bit that I disavowed from was when it talks about cooking. I don't cook for people anymore.
Oh, really?
No, because yeah, you know, I'm dark skinned, I'm plus size, and you know, when I found myself in my maternal strength and giving being sapped, I took a moment and I just felt like, you know, I just don't want to be the mammy, you know.
Yeah,
I really
hear that.
don't want to do that. So yeah, from then on, if I do have people around, then I will go to like Marks and Spencer and get those half-hour things you put in the oven, or I will order from like Just Eat or something.
Big up Just Eat.
I know. Yeah, standard.
No, but I hear that though, and I think that that's probably been one of the things that I've discussed most in therapy, not knowing how to stop being the caregiver, whether it's for my brothers, my mum, those around me. I'm constantly like mothering them and then getting resentful because I'm just like, but who's mothering me? Like, who's caring about me? And then I thought, when I pulled this card, I thought to myself, but everyone just thinks that you don't need it. And like, when it's time for you, you just go, I'm going to therapy, and you just hobble off like to do your own thing. So you haven't even allowed people the space to show up in that way.
I think for me, I really want to fight someone over that card. I think for me, I think for me, you learn that skill. So for me personally, I've definitely learned that skill of like like, do you know what? I need to take a moment. I can give this amount of energy to this person, not to this person. I don't expect everything of you. I'm still going to do everything that I can. And if I don't get that in return, that's completely fine. All of these little spells, we're all running around being little like wizards and witches. Cool. But I think what I keep forgetting and have to keep remembering is when I learn those skills in the same way. It's like, you know, if like, say if I like went to your class and I learnt whatever, and then I didn't go for like a good couple of months. When I come back, I'm going to be a bit rusty because it's not on the forefront and I'm not practicing it. And I think that is my current situation where I've just been on autopilot and doing this and that and that and that and forgetting these protection spells, let's call them. And then by the time I'm like checking myself now, like, why are you so angry? Why are you so this, that and the other? Worn down. I'm like, because you're not doing these things that you're meant to
be
do.
doing.
You're not protecting your energy around it. And like that really cut deep. That was a word.
Right.
That was a word today.
I read it and I was just like, yeah. And I feel like there are so many people that it will resonate with as well, who like, someone keeps coming in my head. I won't say her name, but someone keeps coming in my head, and it's just like, I look at her as someone who's just like together. But whenever we go out and we chat and whatever, she's always like, and this person did this and this person did that. And I just think because they expect that she's so strong. So yeah, you know, you'll get everything sorted. We don't need to check on you. And I always have to check myself on that as well, to check on people who I just feel like, nah, they're cool. They've got it together. Even just a young text like, I hope your day's going well. Just want you to know that you're appreciated. Things like that touch people a lot. And when I receive those messages, especially when I'm having hard days, which is pretty much every day, but you know, especially those hard days where you feel super, super low, and someone just sends me a text and they're like, just letting you know that you're appreciated. It brings me back because, you know, so many times you just feel like, why am I here?
Yeah. And I feel like, you know, we've inherited that maternal pressure. So like sometimes I've got my favorite list in my phone and then I'll go through and I'm like, oh no, I've spoken to them already today. Oh no, I've spoken to them yesterday. I know it's too much. You know, so I will cap how much I can take from other people.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I won't call people because I can't think of anything tangible that they can do.
Yeah.
You know, like I don't want to be on your phone like, you know, this wistful poet. Oh my, you know, it's just, you know. So I'm like, yeah, can you like lend me £20 please? Like that's fine. I can just about find myself like able to do that. But I also isolate myself with the performativity of like the diva and stuff. So instead of, you know, just stating my boundaries and being cool with it, like I have to like, you know, pretend like, you know, that it's a diva thing or it's a bougie thing or whatever, because then it distances us from the rejection and the fear of it. It's mad.
Think the other side of that as well is also especially from a black male point of view, is the idea of like self-care for black men is like a myth or like asking for help.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, oh, I need help, say, or like my mental's not clear, like who can I talk to, blah, blah, blah. More time it's just like, I should firm it in it.
And we can't keep firming it. We cannot keep firming it. Especially for black men. I'd love to see more black men like post like, oh, I'm having a spiritual cleansing bath today. I'd just be like, yeah, G, like do that, because all of the things, all of the debris, the spiritual debris that you carry as men and black men in this society, you need to wash that shit off. Yeah, you shower every day, but are you spiritually cleansing yourself every so often? Probably not. How are you cleansing your aura? You're just showing up everywhere stinky and you don't realize, but you know, like you just don't even realize that you're carrying all of those things. No one to chat to, no one to say, boom, I feel so low and I just want to cry. Men don't get that space. The most that they get is they go barbers. But the barber, it's a place of communion, but then also it's a breeding ground for misogyny for a lot of these places.
Yep. And then whatever their version of what you were just talking about in terms of being the diva, like, do you get what I mean? Trying to play
they're
that
gonna
role,
go man
like,
them, they're gonna go intellectual. Yeah.
I was talking to one of my brethren literally the other day, and like, I said, what are you doing today? I was like, oh, I can come and link you later. Cool, but I've got to go Brixton first. So what are you doing in Brixton? I need to pick up some crystals. What?
Yay! Yay!
Yeah, I need to go and get da-da-da, because this one heals this and this one should take away this and I need to put my intentions on them, blah, 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 blah. Bruv, what are you talking about? Like, he couldn't comprehend it. So like, I was just sending links like, no, I'm going to get crystals. It's like this little shop in Brixton. Like you walk past the phone shop. It's just on the corner. They've got all the incense.
Is it Powerful Hands? Maybe it's Powerful Hands, because I need to go. We need to go together.
Let's go together.
Yeah, because I need to go pick up some candles. But yeah, they're mind blown. Mind blown, because you're just like, oh, I'm taking care of myself. What? Because a lot of men self-medicate with sex, alcohol, drugs, or just shutting down completely when there are other things. I mean, a lot of people do have those vices as well, but I just feel like women get to talk more.
We do. And then I found that when I was living in London, that I would be in the role of the only one they could speak to. Yeah. So like after sex, the pillow talk would also become a therapy session where they're offloading, and then, as they're like mid-flow, they're like, you know what? I've never spoken to anyone about this before. Wow. And stuff. And yeah, sometimes I miss it. But I've also learned how to say that's enough. Like I can't be the only one. I can't. I can't take it all. Yeah. You need to go and get some help. And then when I start talking about seeking professional help, then there's the shutdown that comes. No, that's for you, like not for me.
Yeah. See, and I think that just men generally do that. Like I remember being like, I go to therapy. Oh, that's so cool. Well done. Yeah. You should go to therapy. Nah. Yuck. Like why would I? There's nothing wrong with me. Well. it's interesting to me how we look at that, how we look at mental health in comparison to physical health. Everyone boasts about going to the gym, but no one wants to boast, as it were, about going to therapy. Like, it's not cool to look after yourself mentally. And that is a problem, because that's where you're going to suffer the most. So it's just it's extremely wild to me. The card that came out from the affirmation deck, though, and it links with the tarot deck from the Kaleidodope deck. So the Say Your Mind affirmation, the card that I pulled today was, I have staying power. And I created this affirmation because I think that oftentimes when things get hard, we want to let go. And so it says here, I have staying power. The things we truly want in life require a lot of work, and sometimes sacrifices have to be made. When you are sure of what you desire, you have to hold on tight with all of your heart.
I think that's true, 100%. I think I was reading something the other day where they proved that stress changes DNA, and also that trauma can be hereditary.
Definitely. Intergenerational trauma.
Yeah. So therefore, when we talk about things like slavery and all of those situations, like, and I'm sure you feel the same, 100%. I'm not just like, oh, that's sad. Like, I feel it.
Yeah.
Like, it brings back but memories I don't know where from.
Yeah.
And so sometimes, like, that is completely true, and that is my focus, what you just read. But also, I'm tired. And when I say I'm tired, I mean that as in I'm tired now. As in I'm tired for like 100 lifetimes.
Yeah.
Like, it's a heaviness that I don't know. Only I guess my skin folk can really, really understand. And like, I know what you mean when you say you're tired. You're tired. And it's just, it's a balance of all of these things that we're talking about. And it just feels like a roundabout, swings and roundabouts. So it's like, cool, if I'm trying to be open and be help, then I'm not enough people to look after myself, but then I'm looked at in a certain way.
Yeah.
So then I need to open up and try and help people, but then I'm taken on, especially for me personally, like, I'm really empathetic, which is really helpful in terms of helping people. It's also the way that I'm really good at reading people.
Yeah.
Because I pick up on, like, you know, in the Terminator when he's like, oh, like, John Connor's like, oh, like, because you know how to like fix people, is that what makes you more an efficient killer? I think is a line or something like that. And he's like, yeah. I'm like, yeah, the same. Like, because like I can pick up on what you're giving, I can help you with that. But
and I can also deal with you
I
very
can spin
severely.
you. Like, it's not a thing
Yeah.
for me. But it's quite dangerous, like playing that game. But I guess my point is that it's just a roundabout, and then within that roundabout, it's just intersectional, especially, not even especially, but in my for me personally, being gay, black, this, that, and the other, then I'm in, like, if you look at my professional life, the spaces that I'm in where I'm definitely a minority, like, it's just one thing after the other. Then you've got, that's nothing compared to your experience, that's nothing compared to your experience. So then for me, personally, like, I can pinpoint those things, but then when it comes to you lot's time, I'm like, you know what, let me just put my shit to the side, because you lot, I'm more than aware that you have a bigger struggle and things that I definitely need to back up and show up for. And
same.
for you,
Yeah.
do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like, it just pisses me off, actually. I just think if actually we just all took the time to just cry to each other for a month.
Yes, so, as a release, there has to be a sort of circle, you know, like the same way you have a sister circle, just to have like another sort of like a sibling circle where you just get to release and know that it's okay. And there's a practice, there's a ritual that we do at the end that brings us back.
Yeah.
You know, that it's necessary. It's necessary because all of this shit is tiring and we can't continue like this.
It's tiring. And I like, it's tiring as well in terms of like, I'm actually like about that life. Like, I will take a man's like I'm about that life. So no, but I really am. Like, you know.
I know.
Like, I really am.
Yeah.
And the thing is like, I really have to like, do you know what? You can't do that. You can't catch a body because then you'll go away. Everything you worked on means
gone.
nothing.
Yeah.
It's gone. That will actually like get, I'm not even going to say a real name, resume. Hot. Like actually
cheap,
like
big bottle, innit? Do you know what I mean? Just smelling plasticky.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's her.
No.
bottle. Like, and so I can't even, it's just a lot. It's a lot.
Yeah.
And I think these conversations as well are really, really valid and important because I think people listening will be like, you know what? And maybe pick up a phone and be like, this is how I'm feeling. How are you feeling?
Yeah.
Have an exchange. And it doesn't even have to be at the end of that exchange, I think, a resolution. I think we just start with saying it out loud.
I find myself getting pissed off at my own strength. So like, was it last week or the week before last? I went up to Manchester for this job that I didn't get. It was for trans program at the LGBT Foundation, and it was very X Factory, the interview process and stuff, and got through to the final rounds and then just lost everything. And because it's been 4 years since I've been formally employed, and that corresponds with my medical transition as well. So So, but either way, when I found out I didn't get that job, I sat down in the middle of Manchester, it was just as the sun was going down, and I just started crying, innit? And it was like bleak. It was kind of like a Lowry painting. Just dark and whatever. But after a few minutes, I went inside myself, very grateful for the ability to cry in public. And then I just felt this stillness. I was like, oh yeah, I'm definitely going to be fine. I'm cool. I'm good. Like, I'm crying and it's wonderful and it's great. But nothing can crush me. And I found myself thinking, where is this fountain of strength coming from? Yeah. And stuff like, because when you were speaking about like being able to read people and stuff, as a survivor, I've got that hypervigilance.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
same.
I'm reading the room. I can smell it. Danger. Gotta handle him. Gotta be nice to that one. Get out. You know, whatever. And then that made me think of I googled post-traumatic slavery syndrome. I think it's called.
That's basically
Anyways, and I've just typed P and it came up straight on Google. So you know, But yeah, Dr. Joy DeGraw. I've not read the book, but I've watched a few of the YouTube videos and stuff, and I definitely know that like my body has been conditioned, that the trauma lives in me. Like I can feel it, and I cry like my mum. And I know, when I noticed that happening when I turned around mid-20s. I didn't used to cry like my mum. And then it just started coming, and like I just remember the wailing sounding very much like hers. And I was like, oh, so this is something that we all share. Okay. Yeah.
But they say that even if we look into like the animal kingdom, like they say that the fears of the mother gets passed on to the child. And I think it was a survey that they did on like monkeys and whatever. And I just thought that was interesting that you man can recognize that in monkeys. You call us monkeys all the time, but you can't seem to understand how we could be carrying fear and trauma all of this time. It's just weird to me. But no, I definitely see it. But what you speak about when you talk about this fountain, where does this fountain of strength come from? And I just often remind myself, like, we are spirits having a human experience, right? So we're just the project managers of this assignment, the physical project managers, but there are spiritual people that are also part of our specific assignment and our specific journey. So when we're like, oh, I just can't do it anymore. And there have been many, many days, especially when things happen and everyone's like, oh my God, Kelechi, you're so strong. I'm in my bedroom thinking, I just want to tap out. Where is the exit sign? Where do I just sign out? Because this is bullshit. What are we really, really living for? The government is fucked up. Everything's like mad. Everything's mad everywhere. Why am I continuing? And then I have those moments and then I'm like, all right, cool, let's get on with it. But again, I feel that pissed offness, kind of like, I want to be able to just break down and break down finally. But no, it just doesn't seem like that is what we're here to do. It's like, no, you need to carry on. If that's the staying power, that's basically why I put the affirmation there. You have to hold on with all of your heart because you chose to come here and to do something. You can't leave before you finish that something.
But this is I think this opens up another conversation around the way that we draw from our trauma as that power.
Yeah.
So like stuff that we've been through. So like even when like I didn't have the money that I have now, or like earn what I earn now, or whatever, and I was borrowing this, that, and the other, or like one of them ones where it's like it's a week to like or a week and a half to payday, and you've literally got £5.49.
Yeah.
And like you're like, what am I gonna do? And then you're like, you know what? It's cool, innit? Like I've been through worse. Like even when Mum was sending me to shop with milk tokens, I've been through worse.
Yeah, I remember them.
Kind of thing. So it's like, but then when you look at why you was in that situation, and you really break down why you're in the lower end of society, why you're in council estates, why your education isn't the same as so and so and so and so. It's all either designed or comes from the way that this place was built, or what they stole from and whatnot.
Yeah.
And I guess in a long roundabout way, what I'm trying to say is like, I think deep down, or for me personally, deep down, I get really upset and angry that the trauma that they gave me is the same trauma that I have to use to
exactly so as my building blocks.
Yeah, does that make sense?
Yeah,
like all the bricks that you've thrown, I've got to gather them and build something that I can stand tall on. But in the meantime, every time I'm putting the bricks in place, you keep trying to kick it and drag it out and knock me over. And you're taking my mortar. You're like, what the fuck? I just want to build the thing. If you're gonna dash the bricks, at least let me use the bricks effectively. But you don't want me to.
You literally put me over here with rubbish and nothing and whatnot.
Yeah.
Come and see me build palace, and then you're outside like, look at this.
What do you mean I can't come in? That's reverse racism. No, that's not how that works. No, so leave me alone. But then there's the Kaleidodope Tarot deck. The two cards that came up, the card that we'll discuss in the extra content. So that's patreon.com/Kelechi Okafor. This is the final month for Patreon. So you can join us for $3 a month. Well, this is the last one, so it's $3. But the card we'll be discussing in the extra content is the Knight of Coins. But the card that I pulled to discuss in this main content was the Two of Coins and the Knight of Swords. They're the cards that came out. And so what I understand of this, for me, especially during, and they came out in this order. So this came out first, and then this came out after. And the direction and the order that they come out in always matters. So they came out like that. So the Two of Coins, I see it as some of us at the moment in our life, and I don't know if it's because of Venus being in retrograde until the 16th of November, but we're struggling with decisions. And because it's coins, I'm thinking of career, but I just also think that it might be career, but it's definitely something that's happening mentally. You're juggling between two decisions, between two options, and we see the sign of eternity that is fluid, and it's almost a karmic thing that's happening. This decision that you need to make, whether it's a decision you need to make between lovers or just friendships or career, or just life in general, you need to choose something. You need to choose between two options, or more than two options, but you need to choose between two options, but you're veering towards the option that's actually not going to be the sustainable one. It's the Knight of Swords always comes in with a lot of gra, like riding in, like literally the knight in shining armor, just coming in. But there's no substance to this person. Like there's no whatever it is, it's going to be like short-lived. It's going to happen and it's going to bounce. So if it's a job, you're like, oh, yeah, well, it looks fancy because they're offering this and they're offering that. But the fact of the matter is you're going to get there and Sally in HR is going to be moving mad, or people are going to be moving mad. And you're not even going to want to stay there. So sometimes I feel like what I'm gathering from these two cards is that when you've got a choice to make, what you want isn't always what you need. and what you need isn't always what you want, but just considering that maybe the less fancier, the less sparkly option is the one that maybe you should go for. But I don't know if that resonates with either of you.
Again, I think the cards are fucking ranked. Fucking set up. See what you've done here. I thought we were tight, bruv. Already blood not really. I think this ties back into the conversation because all of the trauma and all of the things we just spoke about, why wouldn't you go for the shiny thing?
Yes.
Like, you're just tight, like, you know what?
All lives matter.
I know that's the long
you get me?
cool.
Like I'm done. You know,
Right.
I'm tired of this stress.
No more salt on my pepper and salt on my chicken.
No,
I'm not gonna cream my skin anymore.
no. Let me just join you, man. Whatever
Do you know what's so funny is that I was so self-conscious. I'm wearing ballet flats today and I was on the tube and I looked down and my foot was dry and I was like, oh my God, I can't turn up with dry foot. I literally had to sit down and I took a dollop, not like a little bit, but like proper words. And I was like, I can't turn up. What will they say? What will they say?
I was on set the other day and one of the actors, bless him, he had gloves on and he took off the gloves and his hands were dry and I was like, it's like wardrobe, cocoa butter. And she didn't have anyone and didn't have any. The makeup woman didn't have any.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
no moisturizer.
Yeah. That's, that number.
And
Wild.
then, listen. And then the stylist was like, I've got some Vaseline. And I was like, yeah, cool. And he was like, bro, thanks. And he did it.
Wow.
And then we literally had like a Wakanda moment. And like the rest of the crew was just like looking
What?
like,
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, no, I would never leave any of my brothers and sisters out like that.
We cannot.
But yeah, I just think sometimes you're just tired and you're just like, who cares? Like, sure, whatever. Fine.
Yeah.
You stepped on my foot. You didn't say sorry. You like cool.
Yeah.
Cool. You call me a black belt. Okay.
Thanks.
Okay, great.
Wonderful.
Because not every day, not every day Malcolm X.
Not everyday beef ting, but at the same time, I just feel like what kind of life would I have if I just took the shinier option? Do you get what I mean? Because that's how I feel like, apart from his clear mental health problems, that's why Kanye is where Kanye is. He kept choosing the shiny thing. And then where does that leave you? Not with you don't have much. You don't have much. And that's what scares me, to be the person that took all of the shiny things and then my life remains dull.
Do you think it's... I agree with that, but I also think with him, it's like... I just don't think he has any good people around him also. Like,
But you choose the people around you.
True,
Like, they don't
true.
choose. Like,
Yeah.
he chose Kim.
Who does he
I am
value?
not... Hold on. I am not fenning him in any way whatsoever. Like, that man is dead to me. Like, as soon as he said slavery was a choice, like, I heard my ancestors. Like, I heard them in every language. Yeah, listen.
And
Trust
someone
me.
said, what the blood clot.
Listen. I heard them. So in no ways am I defending. I'm just... This is what it goes back to. This is a really interesting conversation because it keeps flowing around
Back
the
to
same
this.
pot
Yeah.
for me. And it's like that real interaction. Like, you should be able to call whoever and be like, da-da-da-da-da, and
Yeah,
say what
yeah.
you want to say.
Yeah.
And they should be listening. And for me, that is definitely one thing I think I do. Like, if I feel like I can't do that with you and whatnot, then it's cool. Like, our communication has to be a certain thing. Our friendship has to be on a certain level.
I just feel so lonely though. I think that's my main thing, is that I'm very aware of that about myself. Like, I'm an incredibly private person and I can tell people want to be my friends and they want to come in and they want to know more and be there. But it's just something that I just don't do. Like,
Why?
I'm always there for other people. I just don't know how to let other people be there for me in that regard. I remember 2016 being an incredibly hard year, but I didn't feel like I could share with people because they'll be like, but you just got your studio. Meanwhile, I'm breaking down in every manner of the word, but I had to keep presenting this front of everything. You know, I'm working, I'm doing well. And I wouldn't ever lie about it. I would say that I'm going through stuff, but it's just not something I speak about. And there was one friend I had at the time, and I'd go to ring her to just have someone to offload on. Thank God I didn't, because at the end of 2017, we fell out. We fell out because she's mad. But we fell out, and she went on Twitter, and what she thought she knew, which isn't a lot because I don't share my things. She was now firing on Twitter, like writing bullshit on Twitter, and I thought, so raw. So if I had shared this this massive thing with you, what would you have done with that? You know, and so it's almost like that reaffirms to me, shut your mouth. But then shutting your mouth means that you're also dying silently.
Yeah.
I don't know. I grew up with that was our family message. I think because I was the queer one or the trans one or whatever, I carried that burden of being the truth teller and pointing things out to people. I was always the one, you know, trying to be like wits back into line and stuff. But I really moved away from that in my late teen years and stuff. And like by living out loud and living openly, it makes the thought of someone dragging me thrilling. Like everything is basically out there. In terms of like, you know, my former drug addiction and all the promiscuity and the sexual escapades and stuff. So I'm looking forward to what haters are gonna bring to the table and stuff. And then also the other thing is that because of my non-conformity, it's meant that there's been a reason for it's easier to get rejected. You know, because when you were speaking about Kanye, I thought, you know, I really did make that choice to like live outside of that. And every once in a while I go back and I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna knock on this institution's door and say, are you gonna let me in? Okay, no, it's fine. Okay, cool. I'm gonna be out here and stuff. Yeah. And like, it's a really hefty load to carry. And I feel like I give off the impression that everything's fabulous and you know I'm wearing Fenty and you know everything's cool and whatever. And if people were to know how much rejection and trauma and stuff I face on a daily, I'm not sure if I could deal with that being out there, how hard it really is. Yeah, to be honest.
And that's it. I think that it's nicer and it's neater for people to believe that you just had a little bit of struggle and look at you rising. Like when I put up the Samsung advert, book Kevin, I put up the Samsung advert and I got so many DMs of people saying, oh, I followed you for a few years and it's beautiful to see how you've grown and everything's worked for you and all of the obstacles you faced.
The phoenix rising from the flames. And it's just like, literally, she's made it.
I'm still burning. I'm singed. I'm singed. But you know, I just think you don't have a clue what I go through in my life. You don't know what I'm going through in my life currently. There are things that I share and there are things that I don't. But when I was out at dinner the other night, I said to myself, I made a promise to myself, I was just like, share something of yourself. And so I talked about stuff with the ladies I was out at dinner with. And it felt so scary because I'm just like, tomorrow, I don't even know if now you're going to move mad. But I've just shared part of my life with you that I wouldn't share with other people. And I guess it gets harder as well because the bigger my platform gets, the more I think that even people who are close to me want to be doing selfie. And I'm just like, I just want to catch a vibe. I just want to have a moment and be me and not have to worry about social media and all of that stuff. So you don't even get that break, which I just find draining.
I don't find a problem being... It's really interesting because I think you just hit the nail on the head for me personally. Like, so in terms of, from a point of LGBTQ plus perspective, like, I don't know, I've been out and bad from day. Like, you couldn't tell me nothing. I was just like, ask about me in Croydon. Like, I've been wild. Yeah. So that happened. So then after that, it was like, it is a bit of a challenge. It's like a thrill.
What can
it's
you
like,
say?
what are you gonna say? And I think I said this to you last time. I was like, you're a batty man. I was like, I
right now.
Hairy one. You know what I mean? It's like, what's your point? I don't understand. Like, and I'm still better than like. What's your point?
What is
like,
your point?
And so that, in terms of like, then the part of me that is definitely erode you. Like, you will never ever like. I would never ever be on like MTV Cribs, so you would never ever see inside my house and like
exactly.
And I just pop up there.
Yeah,
and there. Even like, I was waiting for this one on the street corner, just so you lot know. But even waiting on the corner, like, I still think I'm in South North, so I'm just like,
yeah.
why am I wait? Like, I'm in one spot to so stuff like that, like the physicality, I think of it, and certain details like that. No, like I will pop up and pop out and whatnot, but being very open and like, because me personally, I don't like to tell lies either, because I can't. I'm too lazy.
I don't
in
like
respect
them.
of remembering my lies.
I'm just one to admit, like, I just don't share things that I don't want to talk about.
Yeah.
I don't like lying, so I'd just rather just not say anything.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's it, because it makes me uncomfortable to go down that route. But even when there is nothing, so we're talking about things that, well, it's all being out there, what can you really say to me? I'd like to see that drag. I'm always saying you can't rattle a rattler, innit? So you can't rattle me. But the fact of the matter is that even when everyone was doing that online bullshit about she's got a white partner and she's always speaking about racism, oh my God, she's a fucking hypocrite. First of all, your mum is a hypocrite. She should have swallowed. But anyway, they'll do all of that stuff, and that was already out there. You already see on my social media and what colour my partner is. You already see all of that, but they still had all of the vim for 5 days. These lot were online tweeting back and forth, finding videos and being like, "Look, I found this video. You could have only found the fucking
shallowest
video.
analysis
I put it out."
ever. Yeah.
So to me, it's like, even when nothing is being hidden, like, this is what you guys actually have, and that I've put out there, and you're still trying a thing. So what about the ones that you feel like, oh yeah, oh my God, you just don't deserve it, because none of you have the range. You don't have the intellectual range to comprehend the complexities of my life, because I'm a whole fucking human that chooses to live as a human. And you want to all be one-dimensional cartoon characters.
Yeah, and there's no, I feel like, I don't know if I'm from old school or whatever, but there's certain people that I definitely do not chat to anymore, and I could spin their whole life and career. But it's like, you know what? That will never ever come out of my mouth.
It will never come
out.
It. Like, that
Gracious.
is what it is. It's gracious. And you keep it cute and you keep it moving. You don't go out there and just start chatting everyone's business. And then when you get boxed in your mouth now, it's
You're-
like, oh my
you're
God.
surprised.
Yeah.
But then you get boxed
No.
and you want to run to the feds, which is
Why?
why I don't
Exactly.
understand.
Exactly.
Like, if you've done that, if you've been running your mouth, get ready for your jaw to get spun. But you have to firm the
Nicki
fact that your
Minaj,
jaw
sorry.
got spun.
You said the words right out of my mouth. Words out
If
of my
there's
mouth.
footages, you know, you gotta deal with it. So to me, it's just absolutely wild. Like, it's an old school
the real
thing.
tea about that. I probably shouldn't say this. But
Go on.
No, God.
Go on.
The real tea about that situation is someone that I know that was at that Harper's party.
Yeah.
Was like, Nikki was taking the piss and stepping on the back of Cardi's dress, like trying her.
Yeah.
And Cardi was like, "Yo," like, and switched.
Sounds
And from then,
incredibly
that's when
plausible.
she popped off.
Yeah.
I love Cardi.
But I feel like Nikki is the kind of woman I can't stand, where, like, don't throw stones and then hide your hand
Yeah.
in it. If you look for my trouble, get ready to accept my trouble when it arrives. But she'll go online and be like, I think everybody should just, like, stop arguing. Like, shut the fuck up. Like,
Because we all know that, like, you're secretly on the phone with Ra.
right.
Like, just, do you know what
And
I
Cardi
mean?
doesn't have that media training to meet you where you're at when you're
Yeah.
doing all of that bullshit.
I'm glad
So
she
Cardi will
doesn't
just
as well.
call it out like it is. And she made some points, and I was just like, you know what? I see those points. I feel like everyone should get back into their corner and behave. But I see where you're coming from, because Nikki, at her big age, doesn't want to behave accordingly, and I just think that that's mad. It's really mad. But Share Your Magnificence goes out to Ntozake Shonge, R.I.P. And the reason I mention her, so that's my Share Your Magnificence. The reason I mention her is because Hodan, big up Hodan, sent me a tweet that someone wrote the other day saying that a lot of people in society like black women, strong, outspoken, vocal black women when they're dead. And suddenly everyone was coming up with all of these think pieces, all of these hot takes once they heard of her passing. But when she was alive, you were ostracizing her. She was this, she talks too much.
Yeah.
She's too much.
It's difficult.
Yeah.
So difficult.
And it reminds me, I think it's Worcestershire that has the, or Shire, that has a poem for women who are hard to love. And it reminds me of that. That poem resonates with me so much, and throughout all of the relationships I've had in life, whether it's my family or intimate romantic partners or anything like that, just feeling like you're way too much for someone to love. You're too difficult and complex for someone to just appreciate. And it just made me think of her and feel a bit sad that, she created great work and her life wasn't without its complexities. Yet it's after she's passed that everyone's like, oh, wow, she was so wonderful. Why can't we appreciate Black women when they're alive? It's just weird.
I don't really understand, especially from Black men, because it's just like, so how's your mum?
How is your mum?
How's your sister? How's your aunt? All of these things I think I say all the time online, and I'm still waiting for answers from people.
Wow.
Like, how is your mum? Like,
Yeah.
have you forgotten your first home? I don't get it. I don't understand. So I look at your skin tone and it's my mum.
Yeah.
I look at your skin, it's my sister. I don't get it. I don't understand. So I'd be damned if I sit back and watch the doo-doo vine try and take you for a dickhead. I'm going to go back and forth with them because it's like, who are you talking to?
But that was just sad how so many people are desperate for exposure. So they would have been like, they can see them moving mad and they'll be like, no. But it might mean that I get known in America. So I'm going to sit on the fence on this one, or just go outright and support them and say, well, no one asked you to have a white partner. Nobody asked me to have a white partner. Nobody asked your mum to not swallow. There are choices that we make in life. Just mind your business, But I said it wholeheartedly. I said anyone that went to their live show that saw what happened and knows me personally and all of that stuff, I feel like they're moving mug adjacent, because this is how we enable people to keep taking us for idiots on from the Black British perspective, and also for enabling people to be violent in many ways towards Black women, and everyone just sits by and goes, yeah, well, it's entertainment, isn't it? And they want to do a second season and you man are running to go and be in the second season. I'm not saying that God won't bless you, but I'm also kind of like, whatever.
I just thought that whole situation was very wild. It doesn't make sense. I think that's a whole nother episode. But in terms of protecting Black women, and it's like, my question is constantly how is your mother? I don't get it. I don't get it.
But do you feel like some people are just, and I don't know if we mentioned this before, but do you feel like some people can just be they see their mum, they claim to love their mum, and this is why someone said to me, why do you keep saying suck your mum? Why don't you say suck your dad or anything? I was like, no, because these men don't care about their dads like that. It's their mums, because everyone claims to love their mum, but they move so mad towards women and Black women. And why is it just because of the way that why do you need to love your mum first to understand that you need to care about other people? They just lack understanding.
That was the other thing that I was gonna say. It's also just be a decent fucking human being.
Simple. Don't be
just be a decent human being. I don't know. I don't even think half of them love their mums. All the words to Tupac's their mama.
They see their mums as service providers, whether it's I don't know, Virgin broadband, fiber optic. They see their mum as a service provider. So when they say that they love their mum, they love how their mum has selflessly given herself and her life to them. That's how they see it. The moment that their mum goes, I'm gonna go and get a boyfriend, nah, you're a whore.
Because there's so much unexamined resentment towards their mother's strength.
Yeah.
And as much as they love them, I think part of them from a misogynistic standpoint is that's the first person who made them feel small. And that they felt themselves, as little boys feeling silenced, ordered, disciplined, etc. by this woman. And I think that's a lot of that is unpacked. I don't know enough about psychoanalysis to say that's Freudian, that's Jungian or whatever.
Yeah.
But I know that that particularly for Black men, that there is this really cheap understanding of there of womanhood and femininity from like this real heteronormative perspective, where it's just you only speaking about your family and motherhood functionally, but you're not talking about what you experienced emotionally and where the resentment came from, because when you're in relationship, we feel it.
Yeah, but I think that is such a salient point, because I was saying on the podcast last week that I feel like a lot of Black men specifically really, really dislike me because they find me intimidating. But I don't know why you find me intimidating, because I'm not out here trying to really rock your jaw unless you look for my trouble. I'm just trying to mind my business. But the problem is, because I live my life on my terms and I don't need your validation, it really bothers them. It really bothers them. Like, but my validation is the only thing I have over you and you don't require it. So how dare you live your life? I was at the Houses of Parliament, minding my business at that Black History Month celebration. There was a guy behind me that was clearly trying to get my attention as I was talking to Michelle Gale. Cause your sweetness is my weakness,
and your loving takes me higher.
What was that, 92? Oh my! That was a video as well with the sunflowers. Oh my God!
Literally. So, I was chatting to her. A Black man was standing behind me. I was trying to ignore him. This is this woman giving me sickening advice, like advice that I need for my career. A guy standing behind me going, yeah. The reason I haven't said anything to her is because she's that one, innit? That proper hates Black men online. And always talking, like, we exist in more ways than one. I know you exist in more ways than one, and I'm the one talking about it on a podcast. And so, and she came at Anthony Joshua about what he said about his niece. Can't he have opinions? Can't he just want to look after his...
No, it's their trash.
So I'm just like, I'm gonna carry on having this conversation with Michelle, and I'm not going to turn around and acknowledge you. But I just think that you all want to try a ting until the ting is tried. And then everyone now will turn around and go, Kelechi's mad. Kelechi's mad, but you kept looking for my trouble. And when the madness came, what now? Because every other episode, if not every episode, I'm talking about how we need to protect Black men in order to allow them the space to grow. Then I go on Twitter. Oh, she hates Black men. Someone sent me a DM the other day and said, "Oh, Kelechi, I was having an argument with a Black man the other day about you, and he was saying how he just doesn't like you, and he's not even on social media. It's what he's heard from his friends. Said doesn't like you because you hate Black men, and he brought up your interracial relationship, and he said that you're always going at them. And she said, have you ever listened to anything? Have you ever read any of her tweets? No, but the man them. And she was just like, you're worrying about her and what she's doing. Meanwhile, you're married and you're cheating on your wife aggressively.
Well."
Focus on yourself. Focus on yourself.
Sorry, go ahead. I was going to say that I think even though they haven't or aren't able to verbalize it, I think the issue is that you have no interest in making yourself small to make them big. Yeah. And I feel a bit guilty because sometimes I do that in the interest of safety,
which I understand,
or just like to temporarily play a gender role that just affirms them. Yeah, just being real. Yeah, to be honest, I feel maybe either. To be honest, that's just a confession. That I was about to go off into some sort of intellectual pontification, but that's just real tea.
I agree. I agree, and it's just something I won't do for them. But I understand why it is done, and they're used to women doing it for them, where we enter into spaces with men and we must automatically shrink ourselves. And I refuse. I've been small for so many years of my life, being a victim of sexual abuse as a child. I've been small for so many years. I spent most of my life being silent, and being moody and dead to self, And so there came a point where I just thought, no, I need to live a life, and I have to live it on my terms. But that doesn't mean it doesn't come without its dangers. But that's why, I took the decision to take up Brazilian jiu-jitsu and things like that. The more that people recognize me in the street, I get stopped on average at least once a day by people that I've never ever met before in my life. And for everyone that stops me, they're lovely to me. But what about the one time, touch wood, that they're not lovely to me? You've got to be prepared. Do you get what I mean? So I wish I could go small, but I think there's no going back now.
But I think one question for me is like, cool. So let's say I meet you or you. We're in a meeting. It's a business meeting, and I feel intimidated by you. Mm-hmm. What's that got to do with you per se? Because that's
my thing, right?
That's my insecurity around you. Like I seldom feel intimidated by anyone. That's just not my. That's not
my makeup.
That's not my makeup. But if I do, I'm like, oh.
It intrigues me because I want to be like, rah, what kind of juice, what kind of sauce
what's
do you
going
have?
on? Like,
that makes
cool.
me feel some kind of rah.
Cool. Like, I'm like,
kudos.
Thank you.
And a genuine type of intimidation. Like you've got your shit so on point that I'm just like, rah. Cool. Not this one where you're coming to postulate, you get what I mean? And you're going out there because that won't intimidate me, because that just tells me that you're a small person. But you know, some people enter the room and everything stops. Even though it's still moving, everything stops because they have such a presence. But it's nothing that they're pushing on anyone.
Yeah.
It's just what they exude.
Yeah.
I find those people so intriguing. And I have this sort of awe moment with them that would intimidate someone who doesn't believe in their own juice and their own sauce.
Basically,
I believe in my sauce, so you can't do nothing to me.
Because there's that program with it's not a program, it's a film he made, Dave Chappelle, Block Party. And there's that bit, have you seen it? Do you know what I'm talking
I haven't seen it in a long time, but yeah.
So Erykah Badu and Jill Scott performed together. It is called Block Party. And Jill Scott's saying like, you know, I'm not intimidated by her because I have my queendom.
Yeah.
Something like she has her queendom and she has hers, but hers can't interrupt mine and mine can't interrupt blah, blah, blah. And I think that's like, for me, like that's the perfect, like that's how I view things. Like, so that's what I mean when I say like, I'm not intimidated. Like I'll meet someone like, raw, well done for you. Like,
simple.
That's amazing kind of thing. I've got my thing. I know how to do my thing. You know how to do yours. And then if I need to learn that skill set, I'll holler and I'll say, I don't know how to do that. I really want to get into that. Could you help me? Blatantly as well. Like not on some sneak shit trying to steal recipes.
And that's what I don't get. People taking the things that you've done, not giving you credit for it. It's mad.
I'm used to that. I think I have to dismiss false humility and say that I often feel like that person. I very much have the experience of going into a room and feeling everyone's eyes on me.
Yes.
And, you know, like, sometimes I'm walking down the road and I'm like, you know, like, I know I'm a buff thing, but like, why is everyone like, do you know what I mean? I'm just
because you're that peng.
Yeah,
that's
you know,
it.
whatever. And in those business meetings, it's gendered for me because a man's insecurity is an obstacle to me getting the job done.
Yes.
And so that's where that confession comes from, is that I will have to make myself small in order to, you know, Marilyn Monroe myself around the situation, you know, to get, to get the job done. And then with women, it's awkward, obviously, because of my transness. So it's, sometimes I find myself like reveling in it, you know, because I'm so used to the heat of the hate. Like I just, you know, flutter my lashes and just like let them know that like I do know that I am this strong. Thanks.
Yeah. And I think that that's important. Own your strength, man. And I don't believe in false humility. Like, oh my God, I didn't know I was. Nah, man, I know. I believe in my source. Thanks. And that's why I say that I'm just a baby girl. Like I am fully walking in my greatness, and I know that there's more to come. And but by that metric, I appreciate the greatness in everybody else. Like, do you, my G? That's the whole point of this.
And it's just, and it's. I don't understand these men that are online, or that one in the house. Like, so, all right, for me, like I've made a personal promise to myself, like you will never ever see me on the internet or whatnot arguing with a black woman. Like,
even if she's moving mad, you know,
even
I
if
just
she's
step
moving
back.
mad, I'll just step back, and then like I'll maybe talk to you in DMs, or if it's really a real thing, I'll send my sister to deal with you. Like I won't care. You lot are laughing. I'm not telling no jokes or lies. You will just end up getting robbed one day.
What happened? What happened? You know what happened. You should have sat there and ate your food.
Yeah. One black girl who looks similar to me walked up and popped you in your eye. But my thing is like, I would never do that. So first of all, that guy that's in houses, why are you making all of that wahala? Like, in that's like,
but this is what I'm saying, that all of this I feel like is strategic. And also I don't believe, I say, like in the Bible it says that the battle that we fight on this earth is not the one that we can see with our physical eyes. Demons are dealing with you, and those demons are asking you to knock me my peace, like to knock me from my sense of peace and to steal my joy. And I won't allow you to do that in this environment. Do you get what I mean? Like, we're in the Houses of Parliament. Both of us have been invited. They've invited lots of people. We've both been invited here. Now, if I turn around and tell you the things that I want to tell you with this mouth that I know God gifted me with, you're going to get vexed and you want to fight. And all people are going to see is me fighting you.
Yeah.
And so then I've spoiled my experience being in that space. So I felt like it was definitely a karmic test for me to be like, carry on having the conversation that you're having, because it was also important, the conversation that I was having with Michelle. She's giving me advice about how to go around castings, because I'm like, I'm not getting cast for things, and I think it's my show reel. She was like, don't even worry about the show reel. What you need to understand is that probably the first few roles that you're casting, people are going to cast you as yourself, as a social commentator. They're going to cast you as that, as what you're doing. Walk in that for now. Then you have the choice to make other decisions. So she's giving me boom advice. Now imagine I start ignoring that to answer this person behind me. And I knew that in that moment, it was me training myself to focus on the thing that will make me greater. That has nothing to do with me. No matter how vexed is getting me, there's no point. And then when I didn't respond, because when I tell you, he was loud. We're in the hallway. My guy was loud.
Really?
Like proper by my ear. Yeah, I don't like her. Yeah, man.
So what did he then?
But then when I now didn't respond. No,
but what is it that he wanted? Like, what was you meant to do?
So I was meant to turn around and
do
what?
you get what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just like,
here's the thing, because I know exactly what he wants, in that he wants you to turn around and be like, it sounds like, what? You don't like me? Oh, what? No, I'm like, no, I didn't even mean that. No, what I meant was, no, like, of course. Yeah, no, let's go for a drink afterwards. And, that's,
and same to him in my life.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
to give him the space that you've currently
and
taken
to
up.
seek his validation.
yeah.
No, I don't want your validation. So, and he was right behind my ear. Like, even the guy that he was talking to, he got to the extent where the guy was like, okay, I'm gonna head off now. Like, the guy didn't. The guy didn't want any part of the conversation.
I think that all of these men that we're talking about that act like that, and the ones online and all of that, like, especially for me, I think also most of them will then try and do that political chat and like, we'll call Theresa May a dickhead and all of this, and look at the structure and this is set up and blah, 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 but then won't apply that science to why your mum had to move in a certain way and had to be that strong. Do you understand?
Yeah.
So it's like, with me, like my mum badded me up on a regular, and like there were times I was just like, why is this woman moving so mad?
Yeah.
But then you get older and you're like, oh, hold on a minute.
Yeah.
Do you know what? You're an actual fucking G.
Yeah.
Like, you're a G.
Yeah.
You're a G. You're the reason why I now know that certain people cannot actually, anyone can't take me for a dickhead.
Yeah.
Like, the reason why I know how to budget and look after myself.
Yeah.
How I know how to season food.
Yeah.
Etc. Etc. Etc.
The important things.
The important things.
Yeah.
Like, literally. And also, like, even then back to like my grandma and the way that she would move and blah blah blah. But where does that learning come from? Where does that behavior come from?
Yeah.
Where does that trauma come from? That's not your fault. It was passed on. It was passed on. It was passed on.
Yeah.
Do you understand? So like, instantly, you know what? I forgive you for all of that, because none of that is your fault.
Yeah.
You're trying to do the best that you could do.
With what you
so
have.
actually, rather than move like fucking Theresa May, so when I'm building things out of nothing, can you want to kick and knock it down and be like, have you done it yet? What's going on?
Yeah.
And gaslighting me and us. I'm not going to do that to my mum. I'm not going to do that to the black women in my life, because there's no such thing as like, a magical, angry black woman out of the fucking blue.
Yeah.
It doesn't exist. There is a reason for I'm there like,
Pardon me. And then I get angry. And it's like, why are you angry?
what's wrong? What's wrong? What happened? Oh my God, she's mad. Did you see? It's like, no, but like, you're being dumb on purpose. All of you black men who move mad like this online and do these things, you're being fucking stupid and ignorant on purpose. Because I've heard you talk. You've had all of that vim, all of that energy for the government and all of these systems and blah, 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 blah. But then don't apply those. You'll talk about your trauma, but can't fix your mind to understand that other people, women, black women in particular, have had to go through that trauma and have had to survive and are surviving.
Yeah.
They haven't survived, are surviving.
Yeah.
And it's a constant thing. It's a constant thing. It just really baffles me. I wish I was there. Because me now at Powers Heart, I would have just wild for you. I would have done it for you and been like, Kevin went wild and embarrassed Jeremy.
Soz. No, it is what it is, man. But it just got to me, and I just thought that these are the things that people don't see and don't understand. That I get these like things, whether it's online or in person every day, and it's sad to say that it's from a lot of black men, and I just feel like, but why? Because a lot of energy is going into wanting you to just be better. But so we're saving time because Kevin needs to get places. I want to merge So You Mad with Straw of the Week. I just want to give everyone a heads up. I need you all to start sending me your nominations for Straw of the Year. Like Straw of the Year. For the live show, I want Straw of the Year. Who has moved
been a hefty
so
year.
right? This year has been wild. So give me your nominations for Straw of the Year. Send it to SYM@KelechiOkafor.com. If you DM it to me on Instagram or Twitter, I'll block you. So send it to me, SYM@KelechiOkafor.com. Let's start getting those nominations in for Straw of the Year. But for Straw of the Week, / So You Mad, I wanted to discuss Brazil. And their fucking elections. Why is everyone, I'm saying why is everyone, but everyone's nominating right-wing presidents. Like this man, Bolsonaro, whatever the fuck they call him, however you pronounce his name, you've based your whole rhetoric, your whole campaign speech on hating trans people. And not just hating trans people, but also hating black people. So then if we think of black trans people, my God, what now? And I'm angry at the people of Brazil. I'm angry at the European, the white Brazilians. I'm angry with them, and I'm just angry with the world in general because it's a trend now, and it's like the world is in self-destruct mode. But it's the thing is, they're taking out the people that are most marginalized first. They're the ones that are going to feel the repercussions first. But yeah,
I think it's interesting that it's Brazil because I think for decades, the perception of Brazil coasted along on it being this, racial utopia and you know, like everyone's bisexual in Rio and stuff. And I think it was probably when they began to romanticize the favelas in the City of God and stuff that we had a bit more coverage in Guardian Independent, but like about how terrible things were and it's awkward for me because at times I've, it's lonely being black and trans out in these parts. And like, I've had so many examples of black trans communion in Brazil, whether that be, sex workers on road, looking out for each other or whatever, or, just like being able to look after each other and stuff. So, the hatred that this dude is espousing isn't fresh or new.
No.
It feels really archaic, but there's something also really disingenuous about it. Yeah. Because I say this to my sister all the time, it just feels so weird that I can be so hated and so desired.
But it's from the desire. This is the thing. I think that it's from the desire. People hate themselves for desiring, for just desiring generally, for desiring women, but desiring trans women. Like they just see it as this thing. And so, but like we discussed about God rest her soul, Naomi. Your desire gets these women killed. Your misplaced sense of whatever, you don't know what you're dealing with. You can't seem to work it out in your own head, and you want other people to suffer for that who are just living their own life.
Yeah. And like, I think that these murderers are often struggling with mental health issues, not an excuse, obviously, but I think that snap moment where they, you know, snap and kill is one in which I think being like, if women were honest about it, they can relate to it, that that there is this homicidal intent that they have to repress even whilst having sex.
Yeah, I hear that.
Honest, like yeah, I'm ready to get bleak and to talk about why that is. But it's something about strength as well. I think, you know, when I'm scrolling through my social media feeds and I get news that another Black trans woman's been taken, I'm like, why are we always so Black? Like, do you know what I mean? There's no diversity. And I think, again, it's something about the combination of our Blackness and transness. It just feels like that's too much strength in one body.
Yeah.
Gotta crush that. And I hate how much I love that. And I don't know what that means. And I just feel so small in comparison. And everyone's gonna call me gay. You know, like it's yeah, that fulcrum of things, it just leads to the subject of their desire, the need for them to be completely erased.
But then when you've erased all of the people, God forbid, you erase all of them, what now? What now?
Well,
because I feel like the enablers, as in cisgendered women, those enablers are the next ones, and they don't seem to see that. So they're they're helping with this whole thing, like, oh my God, and using all of these slurs, and I think they're all terminologies, hateful terminology that we learn and have used when growing up.
Jerry Springer.
Yeah, only to realise that no, actually, this is bad mind and this is horrible. And unlearning is so painful because you realise all the ways in which you were complicit in the erasure and the vilification and the denigration of other women.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel awkward about this because so the website that Naomi met Jesse McDonald on, Fab Swingers, is interesting because it's one of the few places where I would have deemed it to be a safe place, you know, because I think originally it was meant for, you know, like a swingers, open sex kind of also a polyamorous crowd. Yeah. And stuff. And then I don't think it's necessarily still in line with its aims and intentions. That like they're still able to, like, you know, rate people like you're on TripAdvisor and stuff. Yeah. But there aren't many safe places for trans girls to speak to and stuff. Like if you're using mainstream ones like Tinder and
don't they delete your account?
Yeah, exactly. So what happens is that you'll be on it and these men, if you stop talking to them or, you know, they don't read your profile properly, whatever, they'll keep reporting you and you find yourself repeatedly blocked. So First Thing is a place where that doesn't really happen as much because you're able to more clearly identify yourself as trans and whatever. And there's so many married men on there. So many. Like there's literally and breezy about it. Like really, like it's hilarious because I sent it to my sister and she like it really puts her off. Like you know, because like they will. You know, I can, let me open up a few examples. Yeah, no, let's go there. So like, for example, you'll be like talking and midway through, they will just drop like, oh yeah, you know, no, I can't really meet at that time because, you know, my wife or whatever. There's no compunction and stuff. And it scares me when cis women talk about us in that way. 'Cause it's like, babes, like, so you're telling me you really believe what they say to you?
Yeah.
Like,
because what Jesse said to homegirl, his girlfriend,
Yeah.
about, I got attacked, and then I just thought, shut your fucking mouth. And
Yeah.
then you two came with your
Lies,
stupid self and your
literally,
thin
it
lips,
was
and you came to come and help him clean
5 to 7 days, literally. Like, that was like, let's get blown with Snoop Dogg and whatever. Like, that was a several day sort of thing. But yeah, so for example, I was speaking to this dude, someone gave me a compliment. Oh, thanks so much, you seem nice, I'm sure we'd have a lovely chat, etc., etc. And he goes, I understand, and would gladly chat with you one and again, or even meet you here or around, etc., etc. Discretion is nice, I know, but it's also a luxury, which I appreciate as well. I'm like, what? Are you married or something?
Yeah.
He goes, yeah, although long story and not one to bore you with now, especially if I'm like offering you coffee or whatever. Like, this is not, like, we're out of a different time. It's 2018. Do you know what I mean? There's none of that kind of, Ricky Lake scandal, sort of, that's not where we are right now.
But
These
also-
men know
But
that
also,
they
it's
are.
the name of the website as well. Because if we're
Yeah.
saying swingers, but then more time, your wife isn't swinging.
That's
she's not on
the
swing.
thing,
She's
exactly.
not on
So
swing.
that's
It's
the
just
just-
you,
yeah,
it's just you in the
standard, yeah.
park.
Mhm.
So it's a bit mad. It's a bit mad.
You and Stan Collymore, yeah.
Wow, do you know, it gets me.
Yeah.
It gets me. But I just think, what can we do? What can we do for a safer place for you?
That's for you lot to work out, to be honest. I'm not being harsh,
Yeah,
but
no, but-
honestly, like, I feel maybe I'm sorry to dismiss you, but it's because I'm on so many panels, and like, it's always that one dry question at the end, from like, someone says like, what can we do as allies, whatever, and it's there's a whole range of things you can maybe like read our work, do, like, that's for you lot to talk about amongst yourselves. Like, I cannot be the oracle on how to not oppress me.
Yeah.
Like,
And I always say that it's not the duty of the oppressed to educate the oppressor.
Yeah.
I just wonder there's all the reading, and I think of the things that like, I don't even know how we started following each other, but
I think I contacted you because when you opened your studio,
yes,
I wanted to come, but I was really anxious, and I think I messaged you saying, "Hi, I'm a plus size trans woman, and I just wondered if, like, because I always check, like, it's not safe enough for me to just be like, oh yeah, I can go, like, I always send a message and I gauge, whether it's safe based on that response. And that's not all, just because that's positive.
Yeah.
Just because the person I'm speaking to is like, yeah, of course, doesn't mean that the space I go into will be.
it's going to be positive. Yeah, but for me personally, I'll bad anyone up that would try a thing, and they wouldn't. And this is the thing.
I mean,
but
the thing is, I know you mean well and you say that, but I think there's so much that you don't see, macro and microaggressions. Like, there's things that you can do that, to keep away from, the big stuff, but there's also things that you can't really see or protect me from, like, and this is, I don't really talk about it on a regular, but there's nothing more cutting than a dirty look from a black woman for me. That's just, that will cut me down. You know what I mean? It's not necessarily always, what's it doing here? Like, you know what I mean? Yeah, you can tell. Like, it's not always that. A lot of it is micro.
Yeah.
Most of it is actually. But I'm able to sense, I know when my tea's been spilled, because I had that experience a few weeks ago at a particular event, and someone spilled my tea, and I was just like, I could feel the conversations happening, even there weren't whispers or whatever, but I could feel the room go cold.
Yeah.
And then I had to do so much to avoid certain areas and whatever, and there's not much that anyone could have done for me in that moment. It's more about the long-term work of those family members that we all have, who are just that hostile, and knowing that you've got to do the long-term work with them to make them someone who's safe to be around.
Yeah, and I think that's tangible, and that's something that people can start with. First of all, educating themselves, educating ourselves, like educating ourselves and also educating the people around us, because I think that that's where the change is made. Educating young people, children, and just normalizing to them these things that people have told them isn't normal. And I think that that's wild, you know? And I just think of, just for myself, like my perception and my perspective on genders and not and being socialized to believe in certain things, and realizing that the more I learned about myself and womanhood, realizing all the other people that are left out of that and being like, that's mad. And there's still so much learning to do, and you fuck up in so many different ways daily, and you're just like, oh shit. So
but what's it been like for you? Has it been joyful? Has it been painful? Has it been all of that? Like,
I think it's been all of it. It's been all of it, and it's been awe-inspiring to realize that, wow, this is a big thing. I remember when we were celebrating International Women's Day one year, and I said that this is for, you know, I big up everyone who identifies as a woman that's celebrating this day, big yourself up. And someone came in my comments and they were like, you're getting to, whatever word that they use, because this is about literal women. I was like, you're mad, because who are you to tell anyone anything? So those things, those induce anger in me, because as much as I'm trying to do my learning, as I go forward, I feel I progress in my learning. There's someone who hasn't, and then you're seeing these casual conversations online. And so the reason I wanted to discuss Brazil this week, whether you were able to make it or not, is pretty much because doing Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, the transphobia, the anti-blackness is so
virulent.
Just like cash and just everywhere. And I just want to do this art form, but I also have to find a way of like almost like tunnel vision to not see anything. Otherwise I'll have to leave, because I can't be around that. Yet I still want to learn this thing. So to me it's wild.
So I haven't spoken in a minute, but I was just trying to learn in that moment and listen to you. And I completely appreciate, because I think we have the same conversations, genders aside, as black people when you're talking to allies. Like, what can I do with da-da-da-da-da? And it's like, and even when you asked that question, it was like, it was a question that I even wanted to ask. And that's me, even in the LGBTQ plus spectrum as well. Like, is there anything more I can do? Like, what am I missing? What am I not missing? And I know it's about me doing my own research. And I know it's a burden to, like you said, be the oracle of teachings. So that's why I was just being quiet, because I was just trying to listen and learn. And
I think the reason that I bulk it's the question sign, is because I am voracious in reading the stories of trans people, because I need that for my own survival. I'm voracious in reading the works of black women, because keeps me alive. I need it, you know, like, and this is for those who are on side, but I'm always surprised at how that same hunger isn't made manifest in people's cultural choices. So, for example, I took Janet Mock's autobiography, Redefining Realness, to rehab, and I was not only is it, I mean, it's her life, so yeah, it's like, it's a fantastic plot, but yeah, it's like, you know, it's just like, it's like so well paced and stuff, but really great gender 101 stuff, really great definition, you know, and stuff. And I find it awkward that, particularly for the men who claim to love me, that they won't pick up books and they won't watch Pose, and they, you know, and so I just find it so dispiriting that I am in the role of teacher and educator when the desire is really there.
The desire has to be on them. I say all the time, like, you know, Rennie has the book Why I'm No Longer Talking to White People About Race. And there are so many other books. You don't have to read that one, but there are so many other books that speak to the black experience. And I have white people in my life and around me, friends and whatnot, who go, oh, you know, I care about you, yet you have not made time to pick up this book and just pick and maybe learn about the things that I might encounter. So then it makes life a lot easier for me. So I hear that. And I read Janet Mock's autobiography, but I'm careful of just not focusing all of my time on American voices. right? But it taught me a lot. So when you put up, I think you put up a campaign. Was it a GoFundMe?
Yeah.
And because I'd read that, the moment I saw that, I was just like, boom, got to support the thing, got to retweet the thing, get people on board. And I was getting DMs like, so what exactly is this that you're reposting? I was like, well, are you struggling to read? Go and read it again.
That's awkward because I spent so much time writing the, company statement with that. So yeah, that's
but the thing is, they hadn't gone to read. They do you know what I mean? They hadn't gone to read.
Cool.
It was the thing of, well, explain it to me. No, go and read the thing.
Yeah.
Are you struggling with reading? Go and read the thing, because the very same reason I gave to the cause, you can give to. Go and read the thing. So yeah, I just found that really stressful, and and that doesn't touch on the things that you experience, but it was just, it just got me, because I just thought, am I missing something here? What am I missing here? Because I'm sure all of this is very, very clear. Like, not being performative, not going out of your way, but just being like, this is a friend. This my friend needs this thing. Support the thing. But now you're asking me to give you a dissertation.
I think just going back to the Brazil situation. I think it's a worldwide thing. I think we can all sit in this country and laugh at Trump and America, what are you doing? Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
But it's also like, well, what happened with Brexit?
Brexit that no one understands.
That no one understands and no one... And this is the thing, I read an article today, I think it was in The Guardian.
Yeah.
And it was about the reporter investigated three types of WhatsApp groups that were dedicated to the now president, Wasteman, president of Brazil.
Yeah.
And so one were people who didn't really know stuff, but they believed anything that went into the group.
Yeah.
The other ones were extremes, and then the others, I think, were ones in the middle. And it just got me thinking that I don't think we spend enough time double checking our own facts, which brings it back into this conversation.
Yeah.
We don't spend enough time checking our own facts. And in answer to your question, not question, but point about Janet Mock, I did read that, but in my head, that's her point of view.
Yeah.
Do you get what I mean? So it's like, that's her point of view. Like, is that your like in the same way where it's like, if I have a conversation about my blackness, that's my experience,
and it's not a monolith. And so this is really what I'm getting at, because I just want to, I don't feel like, I can't speak for you, so you would have to tell me, but I don't feel like, for instance, like black transness or however you might phrase it is a monolith. And so Janet's experience being where she is, I
it's
wonder if
very specific. It's a black experience, it's a Hawaiian experience.
So then, but then
so the issue is
British
actually about diversity in publishing, and so the institution of publishing is quite monolithic, it's like I think that what we need is a diversification of publishing models, because there are the Penguins and the Hashettes and the Macmillans and everything, but we are living in a great digital age, and we need to think about how we can support people in bringing their narratives to the forefront. Also, I'm speaking as someone from a very middle class perspective. I've had a lot of privilege in that respect. So me being able to, even be on Galdem or NID or Days, whatever, like that only happened because I met someone rich enough who was able to pay for me to go to rehab. And then I had, a number of years where I could just write things down in a notebook. Most trans people aren't going to get that level of privilege. Even me putting up a GoFundMe is still, you're still imbued with enough confidence to ask your community to help you. Like, a lot of people don't have that, don't have the numbers, don't have the access, etc. So I don't think there's anything wrong with sharing the work of Janet Mott specifically whilst it's there. If that's the only 101 life writing Black trans experience that we can give to people, then I think we should do. And we know that in the meantime, we just need to be encouraging trans, queer, gender non-conforming peoples to speak their truth in whatever way that means. I don't think there's anything wrong with Twitter threads, with Tumblr posts, with that. All of these ways of getting our voices out there can eventually end up in, a printed book or on a Kindle. It's a really long journey. Me becoming a writer it's been decades long, and I feel like we need to have an understanding that we need to invest in people from that long-term perspective, that you need to be in people's inboxes saying, I really think you should write that, And I do that a lot, like with the girlfriends in my life, just giving them the boost that they need. They may not be able to do it for like a good few years, but just being that person that always believed in them.
Yeah.
Looking forward to that award show mention. That's what we need to do.
I think that in my head, again, I just feel like this whole conversation has been a circle. It ties back into the election, and all of those things, and it's about, for me, and those groups that I said that were in, it's exactly what you just said. It's about coming together and talking about our fears and wants and what we're worried about and all of that, and being open with each other as a society, not just as just friendship groups, because I don't think that happens. So then what happens, or what seemed to have happened, especially in this article about the WhatsApp groups, is everyone just found something to hate on, even if they didn't understand it. So it's just like, I hate it too. Yeah, me too. Okay. And he won.
But that's dangerous.
Brexit,
and
Trump.
Yeah.
Da.
And all of it's coming from a lack of understanding. So I feel like, for me, I feel that there has to be a narrative that we're amplifying, right? That is a counter narrative to that. And so it's about knowing what people are wanting amplified. So when I think of help, that's what I think of. Like, how do we go about helping? What are we specifically wanting to amplify? Because you can't go and speak for other people. And I think that we have to be careful in doing that, because you only have a limited understanding of certain things, but it's amplifying the voices so they can speak for themselves and be like, here it is. And also, I guess, providing some form of safety, or some form of visible support, that you can't come and try this person because we actively support them. And I think the problem with marginalization is that people think that you haven't got anyone backing you, so they can move as mad as they want to you. Yeah. And that's a problem to me. I want to make it known that, no, I support these people, all my friends in different places. I support them with all of their different experiences. Because I'm not going to be the one that's going to be sitting back while you move mad to them. Yeah. Because I was reading this thing by Francoise, and she wrote it about Brazil. So obviously, if you haven't gathered yet and you're maybe slow on the uptake, Brazil is getting the straw of the week and maybe even the straw of the year. But I think America's vying for that, as well as Britain. A black person is murdered in Brazil every 23 minutes. What's startling about that statistic and Brazil's record high murder rate in general is that it's also too often the Brazilian police who are responsible for the killing of a generation of black mothers, fathers, future doctors, promising artists and composers, and rising politicians like Marielle Franco, but rest your soul. In doing so, they deny Brazil the human potential, talent, and diversity of ideas that transform societies into what they are meant to be. A report commissioned by the Brazilian Senate concluded that the Brazilian state directly or indirectly perpetrates the genocide of the young black population. That same government provides Brazil's hyper-militarized police forces with the tools to commit some of the worst human rights atrocities in South America, routinely using extrajudicial killings to silence opponents and eradicate enemies. It says here, while Brazil's government turned a blind eye, Rio's police killed 8,000 people in the past decade. 75% of them were black men. In comparison, it took US law enforcement almost 30 years to kill almost the same number of people.
But this is the one thing that I realized, like, And if I go missing, then you know that it's real, innit? Like, people don't understand how much power they have with their money. People don't understand. When I tell you these companies that I make these ads for, like, how prang they get when they're, oh no, I don't think they were like that, and then da 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 da, and how quickly they move because it might be a loss of profit.
Yeah.
If so, with that being said, you lot control that, you know, like you lot control that.
Yeah.
The way that we control our money, don't put your money into those things. Where was the last football thing? Wasn't it?
Russia.
Sorry, not football.
Olympic.
Was it in Rio?
It was
Rio, yeah.
All of this was going.
Them man hadn't even finished the stadium and all of them things. Yeah, and everyone, like you said, romanticizing the favelas and things like that. They're getting killed there. You shot up Mario Franco's car. She got 4 gunshots in her head, all because she just wanted a better place for the black people of Brazil.
But with regards to the anti-blackness, I mean, Brazil was so much later at emancipating the slaves that I think it was late 19th century, innit? And I prefer the bleaker side of Afrofuturism. Is it Afro-pessimism? I haven't read enough. But yeah. Either way, there's a short story that my best friend Frankie read as part of her American Studies course called The Space Traders by Derek Bell. I just Googled it. It's available on PDF. And basically, in that short story, these aliens come. I'll do my best not to spoil, but basically, these aliens come and offer to take all the black people out of take all the black people and it's a discussion amongst white people as whether they want to allow these aliens to take all the black people or not. And I found it like a really cool story because I think in the telling of it, you got to see the way that people were able to dismiss that anti-blackness as a form of pragmatism.
Yes.
And pessimistically, I feel that in the Americas, I feel like either sending us back to Africa or keeping us all as second-class citizens were the only options, because I feel killing us en masse would have been too difficult at that point. And since then, it's been like a gently approach. I just feel like there's such a desire for us to remain in this subservient position, but also they don't really care about our numbers surviving. They don't want our culture to endure in that way. I don't know. I don't feel like it's that hard to think about things that
the Matrix. Like when they're in the fields with the babies and everyone's a battery, like the metaphor like is literally...
It's there. Like
it's
you can't...
there.
It's a form of, symbiosis. You need us. So as much as you dislike us, you need us, the culture, the everything, the infrastructure, the governmental infrastructure. Like you need us in order to survive. So no matter how much you're doing with this killing, we're still needed, because again, I'll still pose the same question. If we are all eradicated tomorrow as black people, what will you now do? What will be done? Do you get what I mean? So it's harrowing, but the fact of the matter is there is a clear symbiosis taking place, and symbiosis means that we both need each other to some respect.
Well, this is where I was going to disagree, because with that being said, what I was going to say, the magic trick about all of that is we don't need them, because we've been making magic out of nothing. You left us with nothing. Do you understand?
Yeah.
It goes back to what I've been saying. Like you're not allowed to have anything cool. We've just got empty bucket. Cool. Here's a beat. Gonna start rhyming. Blah blah blah. Cut to a Jay-Z.
Yeah.
Do you get what I mean? Like,
which I get, but then I'm thinking at the same time, like for me in this current society that we live in, if we all went boom, we're going back to Africa. There are so many things that need to happen in order for the power dynamics to be evened out for us to go, we don't need you. Do you get what I mean? So we're stuck with this thing for now, but we're stuck with this thing. So my hit for whole thing is, that's why I specifically said symbiosis, because as much as we don't want to, the fact is colonization and everything that's happened, and white supremacist patriarchy has created such a construct that we all exist within, and for us to remove ourselves from it, at what cost? How does that happen exactly? So while we want this autonomy and we want this self-actualization, we can't get rid of them and they can't get rid of us, because we're going to continue to thrive and rise, right?
Yeah, 100%. I also think, how does that happen?
How does that happen?
I
That's
think
what
that
I
think that happens if we wanted to give up the language, which is money.
Sacrifices.
If we wanted to.
This is the thing, and that's why I think that this card is so relevant about the staying power. When I go on panels and people say, well, how do you think we deal with racism? For us to deal with racism, we have to deconstruct capitalism. We have to get rid of capitalism. You don't want to do that. And in fact, I don't know what ism we'll be using as a structure of governing our society, because I don't know how I feel, especially about all socialist and communist structures, and having a partner that was living through communism.
Structures, if they believe in structures. Anyway, but
I know,
but
do you get what I mean? Like, what do we create that challenges that? Because as long as that's still in place, as long as capitalism is in place, racism will continue to thrive, because that's one of the pillars that holds it up. And black and brown people are therefore the ones that will continue to be the ones who service it. And they're the ones that get fed through the machine for things to come out the other side.
The only example that I can think of in literature is the book that my sister gave me called Woman on the Edge of Time by Marge Piercy.
Yeah.
It's an incredible book. Which posits a world that is based on... It's kind of similar to Ursula Le Guin's Dispossessed, where it's like the way that the world is ordered is lot less hierarchical, a lot more communal. It's anarchic, I guess, but in the truest political sense of the word, rather than chaos or whatever. And in those books, because of the absence of capitalism, people's existences are much more liberated by not being able to, because they're not defined by gender and race in such a way. I really want to believe that, through science and objectivity, that eventually there'll come a generation who are really able to, believe in the myth of race, and that we can just move forward without any of that baggage. But I don't think that we can unless a crisis comes along which necessitates the structural changes. I don't think that the will is enough. Which
is where I think that we're at. This is where we're at. So it's like a full circle, like you keep saying. This is where we're at. And this is why these people keep getting voted in society and in these different countries, because it's almost like the people are yearning for their own destruction, as it were, for a reset, for that crisis, for us to start again. That's what will necessitate us starting again. But then at what expense? Again, it's like we said at the very, very beginning, because the people who are going to get hit with it first, before all of this stuff happens and we get this new generation, are going to be black people. And if we look at within black people, black trans women are going to get hit. Black trans people are going to get hit the most.
But I think, But I also think if that did happen, I don't think it would be all smiles, but I know in my heart of hearts that we'd be fine. It's like when this country crashed, the banks crashed, and not everyone.
Yeah.
There's certain people running around like, oh my God, like 4 houses. Whereas like
we've been out here, we've been out here, didn't even feel it. Fam, I didn't even feel it.
You were Aldi.
Like, you know what I mean? Like,
so
many people around me and like in my circle, and was just like, I don't even, what you talking about?
Yeah.
Like, cool. It's that thing where it's just like put a little bit of water and a little last bit of ketchup in it. Like it's
and
cool.
keep it moving.
Just keep it moving. So I think whatever destruction does come, and I say destruction with a tone of like, with an underlining of like happiness, because I think you have to destroy in order to rebuild.
Definitely.
I think we'll be fine, but I think that starts, or the first place to start is really realizing like how much power we already hold with our money. It doesn't even matter if it's just it doesn't even matter if you like, you know, you have a part-time job and you only your expendable income is £40. Like that still amounts to,
it matters. Speak with your money.
Because if that's you and you've got £40, but then you and your you and your 1,000 friends have got that's a lot of money. Do you get what I mean?
But black spending power is a thing, you know, and now that the corporations are clocking onto it, suddenly they're including us, and that's the only reason I believe we're being included in these adverts, because as much as there are wonderful people like you who are vying for us to be included, if they didn't know that it would yield some kind of profit, they wouldn't have it.
Yeah.
But now everyone wants us at the front.
I think you're right. I think there's two sides to that. I think I obviously do what I do, trying to be inclusive, and I want to make content where everybody and kids can see themselves, because I know that's the key to the future, to be like, oh, I had no idea that I could be a photographer. Like imagine that when I started. It wasn't until someone brought a book and I was like, I take pictures like this all the time. You mean I can get paid for this shit?
Well, I
right?
think the absence, sorry to cut you, but I think that the way that trans people are minoritized is also part of that, because we don't have the same spending power, because the percentage of us is so much less. And I think with regards to the progress of gay people in the past few decades, I think it was the recognition of the pink pound, and that there were, you know, these urban professionals in industries who had, you know, the economic power in order to, like, you know, support things, and that led to gentrification and everything. And I feel like that's probably why we're a lot more vulnerable, because there's almost, when you speak about the way people come at you online with regards to your like trans support and stuff, I feel like there's a coagulation that's going on around people's hatred of trans people, and we're not able to fight back with withdrawing our money, or to, you know, to mount these campaigns. We don't have, as a community, we're not able to take out ads in newspapers that cost £40,000, you know, and sort of things. So I feel, even though I want to be as optimistic as possible, I'm just so aware of our vulnerability, particularly because we're so disenfranchised economically, that I don't think that we're going to have rungs to hold on to as people are, really galvanized around their hatred towards us.
I think you're 100% right. And I've only really recently, it's only because of Chloe actually, because she was on the panel and talking about employment and not being able, not her per se, but trans women and men being able to get employment at all. For me personally, what's really interesting, and again, it's these things that hold you back because you're fighting other battles. For me personally, in terms of being like gay, for me is way down the list. I'm busy being black. So I'm just like, that's a minor, like that's long. I've got to deal with this, that, and the other. And it's only, I think, within the past probably 2 to 3 years that I've been like, oh, actually, I really need to investigate all of these letters and understand what other communities I'm a part of and how I can support. And again, like just by listening to Chloe, like it probably sounds really stupid, but it really didn't. It just didn't. I think you watch things like, I don't know, Paris is Burning or Oppose. And because of the time frame, you think, okay, so sex work is an option, this is an option, but that was in date,
No, that's today.
Exactly. And
but, I think I agree. I think it's the more voices I'm hearing, I'm just like, rah, I did not know that. My God.
And it's not from a space as well, from like just not, I think you're just tunnel visioned on like that particular struggle. And so this is the thing it comes back to. I was concentrating on this, Like even this conversation now, and I'm like, oh yeah, you're right, actually. How does it do this? And what is your spending power? And how can I
But I think it's also predicated on the visibility of your otherness, because when you were speaking about how much further down the list, I think the reason it's such an issue for trans women is because women are surveyed so much.
Yes.
That you're being measured against a standard of womanhood that is, so hard for you to prove is credible.
Yeah.
100%. As soon as I, like, me walking down the road, like, I'm just any other black boy, innit? So I'm straight. I did like, so there's privileges that just my appearance alone.
Yeah.
Until like maybe you pick it up in my voice or my mannerisms.
Yeah.
So there are certain privileges definitely that I'm afforded just because.
And I did an episode when I talked about the going to a talk at the ICA. I went there for a talk, and the Ekugo was talking about liminalities and how she was reading. I forgot the name of the person that she was reading about, and she just said like black women don't have a space in womanhood the way that it's something that was constructed for white women. And so historically we've been known as subjects for violence and sex, right? Against our will. So then for us to keep trying to force our way into this white womanhood is detracting from the time we could be using to create an liminal space for existing in the liminalities and creating for ourselves a space that we can be the type of woman that we want to be. And actually then that creates more space for women to come in all of their backgrounds into this space and all of their being, which I think is actually a step forward. But I don't feel like the average cisgendered black woman is wanting to come to join that space because they still want that one. The same way I see black men wanting white supremacy and white patriarchy, because it's like, no, I want that thing. But you're not going to get that thing. Come over here. No, I want that thing. And so when I started considering that, I think that it made me yearn for more voices, different experiences of womanhood from black women that I could create a community from, because we don't have to do that one. And so it's, for me, I'm thinking about how you mentioned the metrics that we're judged by as women. But essentially, when we look at them, we're being judged by white women.
Yeah.
And so none of us are meeting that.
I also think that there's this other thing of, especially in the black community, I think actually just any community of colour, you're only meant to be that one thing.
Yeah.
That one thing. Yeah. That's it.
You're not meant to be complex, and people struggle with that. You come with any complexity, and it's like
doctor, lawyer, engineer, move to Surrey, move to Kent.
Okay.
Yeah, they're doing so well, literally. 5 bedrooms.
That one
you
thing.
shouldn't have anything about you.
So then when
why are you going to a jazz festival?
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Who listens to rock? Well, because we created it, but okay, right, cool.
So when you come along and you're like, actually, I'm a pick and mix. What do you mean you're a pick and mix?
And this is where we find ourselves. And this is why I wanted us to meet like this, because I feel like we are the pick and mix. Yeah. And there are so many like us, but we don't celebrate that or embrace that because we're being forced to be one thing. And wouldn't life be boring trying to be one thing?
Yeah. I still have had so much hope in the past 5 to 10 years. Something has happened because of the internet, and Solange. And like, mother. But seriously, I think there's been such a blossoming of queer, trans people of colour communities in Southeast, like lovely picnics.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I have noticed a lot more when I'm going into cultural spaces. I used to be very much the only one going to museums on a Sunday or going to the theatre and stuff. I love that piece you wrote about going to the theatre and stuff. And I think because some of us are getting the financial freedom to learn, because I read, I didn't read, I was affected by Virginia Woolf's A Room of One's Own. That a woman needs a room of one's own and £500 a year, or the equivalent of, in order to be a writer. And I think because of my marginalization in society, I have been able to create this space, and I can feel it. Like I'm not able to defend myself physically in the way that would be useful, but I found that my freedom has come through things like my bicycle.
Yeah.
Because no one can get me. It feels like that anyway.
Yeah,
that,
yeah.
I'm as I'm cycling through town, and I just got like a Danish, it's like a Dutch. It's like a Dutch ladies' bike. Yeah, exactly. So I'm upright. I'm
like
upstanding.
Yeah,
exactly.
That's why I wanted it to be able to wear my skirt. Yeah.
And there's some I can see the ire in certain drivers' minds, like that faces. Excuse me. Like when I'm cycling along in this really proud stance, and they're unable to get me, particularly when I stick to like the cycle pass and stuff. Like, see, I'm like respecting the roads. You can't get me. But I think I'm really looking forward to us moving into those spaces that we're not used to seeing Black people in, and like just occupying them gorgeously.
Referring to them as spaces rather than white spaces. Like they're just spaces.
They're just spaces.
They're just spaces.
Yeah, defo. Yeah.
They're just spaces.
Yeah.
I think we get caught up, like, especially from like a Jamaican family background, like, why you gotta be so white? And it's like, what does that even mean? What does that mean? Like, I'm allowed to enjoy, like you said, Coldplay or whatever it was. And I'm allowed to the bike that I want. And when I was eating meat, I've said this before online, I'm allowed to eat meat.
But when people are saying that to you, aren't they scared? Are they scared of your loneliness?
No, I just think that they're scared of their loneliness.
Yeah.
Because the further away you move from what they... My therapist said something like amazing last night, because I was saying to her that I struggle with boundaries with like family and close and people who are very, very close to me. I struggle to kind of be like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this for you, and I don't want to do this for you because I just want to do this thing. And she was like, okay, so imagine that the world is a stage. We're going to take that Shakespeare, take that Shakespearean aspect. The world is a stage, and you and your family are on stage, and everyone has their lines, and we've been doing this play for years. Everyone knows their lines. And she said, now you're an actor, so you know what happens on stage when someone misses their line. Everyone turns to them like, and they try to get them back on script. Because you come off your line and you fuck up the whole play, or you delay the whole play. But we've been doing this play for years. But what happens when you insist that these are my lines and I'm going to stick to them? What happens? Everyone has to improvise, and they're just going to have to make it work because you said that these are the lines that I'm going to say in this motherfucking play. So when she broke it down to me like that, she was like, so what you feel like you're struggling with, keep saying your new lines. Just keep saying your new lines. And eventually everyone will have to join you. Like, they will have to improvise around you. And if they don't like it, you know what? They can exit stage left. So I think that when we show up as ourselves and we say, you know, I enjoy this and I enjoy that, we're not sticking to our lines. So everyone's trying to get us back on script.
And above all of that, people in the audience didn't even clock that you changed your lines
This
anyway.
This is it. They don't know the play. Only you man know the play.
Right. So let's just support each other.
Right. So Emma, book. She doesn't listen to the podcast. She doesn't have anything to do with social media, but like, I appreciate her greatly. But when she said that, I just thought, change your lines. Change your lines. And if they don't like it and they don't want to improvise around it to meet where you are with your lines, we'll all go our own way.
Yeah. It's funny you saying that makes me even more comfortable taking on the cloak of activist, to be honest, because I think it was either Laverne Cox or something, maybe it's several people trans people said it, when they say that, you know, as a trans person, when you leave the house every day, you know, you are an activist, like, just by breathing, just by existing.
Yeah.
And I do really feel that, particularly because when I left home at 17, I was homeless and I forged my own path and everything. By jumping into the unknown and just believing that what my soul told me was correct, I feel like people look at me as some sort of renegade and that the energy shifted towards me.
Yeah.
That I was leading, that I was at the vanguard.
Yeah.
Leading everyone on. And because of that, I can see when I move through the world sometimes, I'm so bullshit.
Yeah.
Even if I'm walking through a tube station with my little Vivian Westwood bag on my head, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm just boosh.
Yes,
You know what I mean?
yes.
Like, I feel like there's a fear, particularly being British, you know when you just that,
Yeah, they're not used to it.
They're really not used to someone liking themselves.
Yes.
Really liking themselves.
Yeah.
And I've always wanted to be that person that gives people license to do that same.
And you are, by merely existing. And, for the time that we've known each other online, you've been so vulnerable and so honest about so many aspects of your being, your existence, that it reaffirms so many things. And that's from me, who I feel like I'm pretty sure of myself. But to see that makes me even more sure of myself. So I think about the person who isn't quite sure, and knowing that you're there, it matters to me. So I just that's one of the reasons I wanted you to come on the podcast before it ends, because I want us to support you as much as we can. And you should have that book. You should have your book. You should have.
It's coming.
Yeah. So for that reason, we know that numbers speak. So the more numbers we drive your way, to even more numbers we drive your way, then we're getting there. Because for me, we don't succeed as Black women if all of the Black women don't come along.
True.
And we don't succeed as Black people if all of the Black people don't come along. So to me, that's the least I feel like I can do right now. Because I see you and I feel like it's important for us to see. So then things that happen, we are aware.
Yeah, and I think we have such a history of keeping our queer and trans siblings on the sidelines. Can we imagine what it would have been like if Bayard Rustin had been supported, if Marsha P. Johnson was able to live a nice long life, if Bessie Smith and Billie Holiday received all the love and attention that they required, like I do feel like, as much as I'm the living my ancestors' wildest dreams, that I owe it to those who came before, who didn't get those chances, who weren't able to be visible, that what feels like such extreme marginality to me now, I mean, it is, but it can't compare to what they went through. But all of it matters. Yeah, all of it matters, and I'm really grateful that you came on today to chat with us and with me, because I feel that even just you being here is affirms so many things, and I hope that the listeners, like you've managed to, at your big age, start picking up things that you should have known, but we're all learning, we're all growing together. So I appreciate you both for coming on and speaking with me, Kevin. Is this the time when we can tell them to follow us on Instagram?
Yeah, so that's coming. They will follow
as
you.
long as that happens.
Yeah. But I appreciate you both for coming. I truly do. We're going to do the extra content in a bit. The extra content, I got a letter from someone who has only just started listening to the podcast, and they said they're listening to the White Caucasity episode, and they said they feel that even if these white volunteers that go to Africa are doing it for this and that, shouldn't we still be glad that they've helped at least 2 people? So what? We will deal with that. I'll read the letter in the extra content. If you want to join us, that's patreon.com/Kelechi Okafor. It's only up for a couple more weeks, and then the thing is done. So you can support for the last few weeks anyway. But Kevin, where can they find ya?
You don't have to find me at all.
They love you. They'll keep bothering me, and I'll keep tagging you in the thing.
Have you noticed that I just live in my stories?
Yes, yeah.
I live in my stories. They disappear. I put up the random images that I find. The link there. I'll have a rant about certain things and disappear. I'm not for the internet age. I'm from the 90s, 96, 97.
That's so cool. You're so cool.
Huh?
You're so cool.
People just be wild. It's like, cool, just drop your location. Like, let's
meet.
Let's meet.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you find me, you find me.
That's good. So that's your challenge. Go and find Kevin.
If you want.
Finding Kevin. Go and find him. But yeah, they love you greatly. And now you have a new love in Kuchenga. Where can they find you?
You can find me most often on Instagram. That's at Kuchenga, Kuchenga. A little less often on Twitter at Kuchengcheng at Kuchengcheng. And and also my website is under construction. So when that's launched, you can just click on the link in my bio.
Yes. So what I was alluding to earlier is the GoFundMe still up? What are we doing? What do you need us to do? What do you need us to do?
Oh, thanks so much. Yeah, was it I changed the limit.
Okay.
Basically, I lowered it because I felt like, you know what? I just wanted to, just make it more manageable. So, I think I've moved it to like 3,500 and I'm at like 2,900.
Yeah, we can do it. We can do it.
Exactly. So, hopefully by Christmas. And the GoFundMe is currently on my Instagram.
Okay.
Until my website is under. Yeah. So basically, let's get the GoFundMe out of the way and then we can just focus on my writing and stuff.
Okay, cool. So we can support Sis, we can support Kuchenga by donating to the GoFundMe. I've posted about it before. I will post about it again. I'll add the link to the captions so we can just do what we need to do. If this episode has touched you, and the things have resonated that we've been talking about, and you truly want to start finding ways that you can be of support, this is the way to do it. Go and click on that GoFundMe and support the ting. So I'll provide the link for you all. You can follow me on at Kolechnikov or at Say Your Mind Pod. And like I said, live show will be 2nd of December. I'll announce the link on Monday, by the time you're listening to this, which will be Monday, or some of you who listen to the podcast on Tuesdays, if there's still tickets, you'll grab it. The affirmation card's done. Don't ask me no more questions. Join us. If you want to send a letter, especially for Straw of the Year, send it to SYM@KelechiOkafor.com. Big up Ibile Botanica. We're now going to jump to the extra content quickly and we'll catch you later. Thank you so much for listening. And I've been Kelechi Okafor and this has been SYM, officially known as Say Your Mind, unofficially known as what? That's right. Suck your mum. Suck your mum. Thanks, Kevin. That was so out of... Let's do that again. I didn't even know if you were coming in. All right. So this has been SYM, officially known as Say Your Mind, unofficially known as what? Suck your mum. That's it. Thank you so much. Peace.
It's the Benz Brunani womanist, baby boys, baby girls, you need to hear this. Sit down, receive this realness. Make sure your cup's ready for the tea, we are go sip it, yo. Hard time scrolling for your long throats. You might learn something you never know. Collect you fine, and she's one of a kind. Don't say your mind, say your mind.